The Crimson Tide bounced back after the loss to the Aggies. Should A&M have beaten them the way that they did? I don't know, but we're fixing to dive in and find out about this Crimson Beast that the Aggies have unleashed out of Alabama. Let's look at it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard here, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with a recorded video here on StreamYard. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Got a lot of big things coming to the channel in 2022. Want to get more professional. I'll be making a video about that pretty soon, releasing it maybe sometime in November. I don't want to wait till like last minute of 2021 to put that out, but get you guys hyped up. I'll probably put that out at some point, but do stuff like this. Sit down, record, just talk some good sports and everything with you guys. I wanted to talk today about the Alabama Crimson Tide. Of course, we remember on October 9th, or was it the 8th? October 9th, they went to College Station. They were undefeated. Everyone said Alabama's looking really good. They're you got Bryce Young emerging as this Heisman favorites. You got Alabama. They're the national favorite. That's kind of simmered down a little bit due to a slip up on the road in the SEC. Went to Cal Field, lost the game, of course, as we know. And look, it was bound. Alabama was bound to lose a game somewhere because they just went undefeated. And it's hard to go undefeated 2 times in a row. It's hard to win back-to-back titles, right? And I myself have said some things about this team's not as good as last year, and Alabama's not making, the national title and everything. And there's still a lot left to be played, right? I'm not necessarily like I can't. As someone that's a sportscaster, you can have your favorite teams. I love Alabama with everything inside of me. Crimson Tide fan till I die. But I can't pick them every year. I've been saying it, and I'm going to continue to say it. I think that Georgia's going to win the national title this year. I know I've been critical of Georgia a little bit, Kirby Smart, this or that. Of course, he's a great coach. Of course, he's amazing. Of course, he's an elite coach with an elite dominant program right now. Why that's hard for me to admit, I don't know. Probably because we haven't really seen it, right? He made the playoffs in 2017. Fantastic. He cannot get back. Georgia might make it this year. But staying on topic, talking about, of course, the Alabama Crimson Tide, let's take a look at, first off, again, the rankings for Week 8 of the college football season. They are back in playoff form in the top 4. If the season ended today, they are in the playoffs. It would be 1-4, of course, and 2-3, which, let's be honest, this will be a hell of a playoff right here. Georgia and Alabama and Cincinnati, Oklahoma. You got to be kidding me with this. This is amazing. Alabama moves up 6-1, right? So they have the loss to A&M. They were on point. They opened the season, dominant win, which I didn't expect much of a blowout in this game. I trash-talked Miami all throughout the offseason. Bama's going to get them and all that, right? They dominate 44-13. Next week, 48-14. The week after that, they were trying to pull away, but it was kind of another situation like last year's SEC championship. They go to Gainesville, of course, playing Dan Mullen in Florida, and they pull it out 31-29 and get the win. Okay, then they go and they win 63-14 over Southern Miss. 63 points against Southern Miss. Now, here's the thing about that. That's a cupcake. I mean, Georgia, Auburn probably could score 40 on them. I don't know. No offense. Shout out to Mississippi Sports first, by the way, and no offense to Southern Miss. But I just wanted to see it against a better team. I was just sitting here waiting for that moment for Alabama. Like, where's the defense? Where's that true challenge that they're going to face. The next week, they played Ole Miss. Shout out to my man, Chess Hall. He said Ole Miss is going to beat Alabama. Not only did they not do that, they lost by 3 touchdowns. Was it 42-21? That's 21 points right there. The next week, though, Jimbo Fisher comes walking into College Station, his home now. Alabama goes in there. I'm thinking, okay, it's a night game. It's Kyle Field. It's a tough environment. Regardless of what A&M's done, this will be a little challenging, right? And you got to remember Jimbo Fisher had his comments over the offseason that he was going to beat Saban's tail. I'll say that because I try to keep it clean on here. When he saw him, Nick Saban responded, in what, golf? No, he meant in football, and he did that. Credit to him. Alabama was bound to take a loss somewhere. I knew it was going to happen. I figured it wouldn't happen until maybe the Iron Bowl because Jordan-Hare is a tough environment. They could still lose that game. In fact, Auburn getting a win over Arkansas really helps their case because now when you look at the standings too, let me show you this here. Well, first off, they're number 4 in the rankings, Alabama. You get it. Auburn falls at 19, still in the top 20. If they keep it up, they could ultimately get maybe into the top 15 somewhere. I don't know. But anyways, let's look real quick. I want to show you guys. Not that one. This one here. Okay. Look at these standings here. Let me full screen this for you. So you look at, well, first off, here's their remaining schedule. They got the 3rd Saturday rivalry this Saturday. Shout out to volunteer fans out there, Sam Bell, ACP Carter, BBD. I love you guys. Much love and respect. Good luck on Saturday in the game. Alabama pretty much owns you, 16 straight or whatever it is. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. They got this stretch. Coach O is out at LSU. What's he going to do now, okay? Or at least he's continuing the season, but he's supposed to be out at the end of it. So I guess he's still coaching. But Tennessee this week, LSU, I'm only circling that game, and I'll get to that in a minute why. New Mexico State, or I'll tell you what, New Mexico probably has good steaks. I don't know. But New Mexico State. Then Arkansas, who's not looking – they were looking really good at the start of the season. They lost to Georgia, and they're kind of falling off a little bit now. You got them. And then the biggest game of the college football season, the one that matters for the Crimson Tide, at least if you ask me, nothing matters more than beating the Cal College on the other side of the state, said Bear Bryant, the Iron Bowl, which right now, if it were to happen today, it'd be 4-19. Bama, let's be honest. I mean, quality wins. Florida, Ole Miss, they've beat 3 ranked teams. All in the top 15, by the way. 14, Miami. 11, Florida. 12, Ole Miss. Now, I don't know. Do we consider it quality win because of where those teams were at the time? Or where they ended up going anyway. I mean, I really don't know, and I really don't care at this moment. But when you look at it, Alabama losing this game here to A&M, right? I mean, it's not when it's Alabama, it's not even for Nick Saban so much who they lost to, but how they lost and the fact that they lost. The standard for Alabama is win every single game. Reach the national championship, and be a national champion. Nick Saban had a quote. He said, every choice, every decision, everything we do every day, we want to work to be a champion. And that's what Alabama is. They're used to taking losses. They do it all the time. And I say that they're winners, but if you go back, 2009 was the last time, outside of last year, of course, they didn't lose, the last time they had an undefeated championship season. In 2011, we had the 9-6 game of the century game. They lost to LSU. They get the rematch in the BCS, and they beat LSU 21-0. 2012, they lost to A&M. They went on to blow out Notre Dame. right? 2013, they didn't make the title because of a winner-take-all Iron Bowl. We know about the kick six. We get that. 2014 was a down year. They took 2 losses, one being in the playoffs to Ohio State, and so on and so forth, right? Bama's championships have been a factor of finding out what their issues are and going forward with the season, winning out, and dominating. And I really think that A&M unleashed a beast because not only did the next week they win, they won by 40 points, literally by 40. It was 49-9 this Saturday. Tennessee, I don't know. Go ahead and give me a score or something. 48-7, maybe even 48-0. I don't know. But I just have a feeling that Alabama won't slow down. I'm not here to say they're going to win a national title because it's very hard to go back-to-back, right? Someone was going to get them, and A&M did. But they're now. You think they were hard to stop, period, beginning of the year because they were just looking so great? Now that they've lost, there's a beast. There's this Crimson Beast. If you read the title, too. I love that. I love that. Someone put that on a T-shirt. I don't know. There's a Crimson Tide beast out there that is furious, that's mad as hell, that wants to just go out and dominate. It wants to do that. Alabama and Nick Saban and Bryce Young and company are in a position where they just, not that they're unbeatable because they have lost, and nobody's unbeatable. And I don't want to say that they're unstoppable, but you better bet that it's hard to stop. I still think that they're not going to win a title this year. It would surprise me, right? And I don't say that because it shouldn't surprise you because they're Alabama. It's hard to repeat. And with everything that they lost, they're not last year's team. They had adversity. Georgia in the first half, the SEC title, Ole Miss at least on the defensive side of the ball. They faced adversity last year. They didn't lose. They literally bent, but they didn't break. Well, they bent and they broke against A&M, right? And how do they do that? Well, it's weird because I'm gonna tell you something. Let's look at some film real quick. Let's do that if we can. I'm gonna go here. Let's look at some highlights of the A&M game. This was a 2nd and 5. Isaiah Spiller was the key running back here. It's a little blurry. There we go. Okay. So you have a man in motion. You're thinking he's coming on this weird jet sweep or something, or he's going to be a receiver to get the ball. Alabama is moving, right? Well, here's the kickoff. I apologize. But we get to this. It's like the very first play of the game right here, or second play, whatever, on a 2nd and 5. Man in motion. Everyone's moving. The line is moving. One guy's staying put. They're getting ready. You have a tight end go in motion. Zach Calzada, the quarterback, is going to give a handoff. Great O-line. The key block right there, number 64. I couldn't see who the defender was, but he jumps out, grabs an Alabama defender, and not only grabs him, he pushes him up. He's moving him to the right. Let's watch this again. Okay. Key guy right here. One guy moves in motion there, right? 2 key blocks right there open a big hole for Spiller. Jordan Battle, you have Carter, that's Armour Davis. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. You have key secondary players that are there to tackle him, but they're caught off guard. They thought that maybe, just maybe, the defensive front would do their job, right? And some key play fake, right? So ultimately, I mean, you see it happening all over the place. Just powerful O-line. to block. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that Bama lost this game. I do. Yes, they lost the game. They could have done things better. But obviously, you give credit to what Jimbo and everybody for A&M had planned up. Brian Branch, I can see number 14 here. That's a key guy. Just lets him catch that. Now, it's not for a first down or anything, but still, secondary coverage is not the best, and you're giving up a few plays. I'm getting a little off topic, and I don't want to share too many highlights with you guys. But A&M found ways to break down the defense. Pete Golding did the same exact style, whatever, of defense that they were trying to run, and it backfired. And the thing is, too, is that, okay, Bama can get behind in a game. It happens. Anybody can get behind in a game. The issue is not giving up one big play or anything, but it's not adapting, right? Like, this was a shootout. Alabama's offense did what they had to do. Bryce Young was out there. The defense lost the game. And it wasn't necessarily, they ran the wrong formations or they gave up a big play. They gave up plenty of big plays. Trust me on that. Plus the field goal at the end of the game to break the tie and win it for A&M when Seth Small hit it. Alabama failed to adapt to what was going on in the game. They couldn't keep up. And they kept up with Mississippi State last week. Not only that, they shut them down first off, 49-9 again. But what does this mean going forward, though? Because, even Nick Saban, when they had that 44-16 game against Clemson years back, a couple years ago, he said that he feels like if they had taken a loss somewhere or played a close game or whatever, they played a close game against Georgia in the SEC title, but let's be honest. He says that they lost the Bama factor, which you've been hearing about, against LSU. They shut LSU out 29-0 in Death Valley, right? And that was like a top 3 matchup. It was like 1-on-3 or something like that. So A&M beating Alabama the way that they did, right? Let's look at let me pull this up here. Let's look at some stats. It was 41-38, right? So hold on. I got it for you guys here. Just outscored them. It was 17-7 at the end of one. A&M, give credit, they have great defense, and there were two touchdowns in each the third and fourth quarter for Alabama, right? But they gave up a drive towards the end of the game. They looked like they were just ready to quit and give up. And it set A&M up in field goal range, and it's not one of those, they just couldn't block the kick. No, the defense was bad. Feinbaum even says here, it was disgraceful. I mean, they belong in the Big 12 after that game. Now, they bounced back against Mississippi State. They took care of that, right? Oh, but Bryce Young threw for more yards. Okay, that's fair. He had 20 incompletions. Zach Calzada, the quarterback for A&M, had only 10, right? Offense on paper, with the game leaders here, Alabama leads in practically every category. I mean, 24 carries for Robinson, 147 yards. Okay. Well, Spiller had a touchdown. He didn't have as many carries, didn't have as many yards, but he got a touchdown. Brian Robinson didn't score a touchdown. Ainias Smith had 6 receptions for 85 yards, not even 100. Jamison Williams had 146 and 2 touchdowns off 10 receptions. How did they lose? Because the defense was beat. Plus, Alabama did have 2 turnovers. They had one more first down. They had more time of possession. They had more yards, but 2 turnovers makes a big bit of difference. I'm telling you that. Right? I don't remember exactly what they were. I think one was a pick six or something. But ultimately, Alabama just got beaten, smacked around, and Jimbo did what he said he was going to do. He's going to beat Nick Saban, and he did it. He's the first assistant and was in the best position to beat Nick Saban as a former assistant. And he did that. Right? But what A&M doesn't realize, and we saw it play out last week, and people expect, they're going to bounce back. They're going to use this as motivation, and they'll be back to it. 49-9. They win by 4. They go from losing to 3 to winning by 40 the next week against Mississippi State. Now, I'm not going to say anything about Mississippi State. I'm not going to trash talk or anything. But I'm telling you right now, they got to get it together. The secondary has gotten it together. The defensive line and everything is back to what it looked like at the start of the season. Now, I don't know if the Ole Miss game is what, they lost their way a little bit. They thought they could just shut down any offense, and it hit them in the mouth last week. I don't know what it was, but they did. And they won 42-21 by 21 points against Ole Miss. A lot of people thought Ole Miss would get them. My friend Chess Hall said it. I said Ole Miss or A&M might get them. I don't know. Maybe Ole Miss. Someone was going to get Alabama. Well, A&M got them. And now there's a beast in Tuscaloosa that's made and ready to play. They got a turnover off Ole Miss. They had more time of possession, more yards, 27-18 first downs. As far as Ole Miss had the 18, Alabama had 27. They just dominated like they do. They didn't have to kick a field goal. It was touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Everyone hyped up the 3-1, 12-ranked Ole Miss. Actually, I think they were 3-0 going into it. But still, it was great defense for Alabama. And I don't know if it got away from them against A&M or what it was, but it kind of left a little bit. Now, I'm not going to say Alabama's going to win a title. I really don't think they will. It's hard to repeat. Maybe give it another year or so for Bryce Young, and maybe he leads them to a national title victory. I still think that maybe it's Georgia's year. Is Georgia going to get Alabama in Atlanta? Well, first off, is Alabama even going to win the West? Let me tell you something. I keep saying it. Y'all keep not listening. Oh, they're not going to lose to Auburn. Well, it's an Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare. And if the defense is not consistent, here's what I'm worried about. Because the defense seemed to get back to it against Mississippi State. Right, and they were great, all throughout. They had a close game against Florida, close call. Okay, shake it off, bounce back. Then they dominate Ole Miss. Then they lose their way a little bit, giving up 41 to A&M. Then it's a wake-up call. All of a sudden, it's 49-9 over Mississippi State. What if they blow out Tennessee like 44-12 or something on Saturday? What if they shut down LSU, New Mexico State? It's dominance, dominance, dominance. Don't forget a team like Arkansas out there too. I'm worried that they're going to lose their way and composure by the time the Iron Bowl gets here. And they might not even win the West. Why do you keep talking about the West, Christian? Why do you keep – well, it's on the line, at least for right now. When you look at it, let me show you. Hold on. You want Alabama to guarantee the West? You want that to happen? Auburn is 2-1. Ole Miss is 2-1. At least this is, of course, conference play, right? Now, let me double check. If I'm not mistaken, Ole Miss plays Auburn this week. Yes. No, I'm sorry. It'll be next Saturday. They both get LSU and Ole Miss play this Saturday. Auburn, maybe they're on a bye week. I don't know. But keep your eye on the 30th, a 7 Eastern game on ESPN. Auburn hosting Ole Miss. Keep your eye on that. Because if Ole Miss wins that game, then Auburn, they have a second SEC loss. Right? Heck, Ole Miss could still win the West. There are 3 teams that I see. Because if Auburn beats Ole Miss and keeps going, then whoever wins the Iron Bowl is getting in. If Ole Miss wins and beats Auburn, but let's say Auburn beats Alabama. Ole Miss, let's say they win out, don't lose another game, don't lose another SEC game, period. First off, they're still only a 1-loss team to Alabama. They're looking great. They're sitting high on the hog. If they beat Auburn, they have a path to make the SEC title. Oh, we know what's going to happen. I understand all that. We know what's going to happen. We know what Alabama's going to do. We know who we're getting. But I'm just saying, man, did anyone really believe Jimbo Fisher when he said he was going to beat Nick Saban in Alabama? I didn't believe him. I thought it was laughable. But he did. I mean, did anyone expect Clemson to fall off after the Georgia loss? I didn't. I thought they'd take that loss, run the table, win the ACC. Now it's at a position where they might not even win the Atlantic Division. There's a lot of inevitable stuff going on this season in college football. And I'm not gonna say we're just getting started, but I will say that it's still far from over because we're at the halfway point. We still got all of November. We got conference weekend. I mean, we got all of that. But for Alabama, A&M released this beast. And I'm not saying this Crimson Beast is unbeatable, unbearable. But I'll tell you what, it seems like it's hard to stop. Bryce Young's going to get back at it, keep firing to Mechie, Agiye Hall, Slade Bolden, whoever's out there. Jameson Williams is a key receiver stepping up this year. Brian Robinson in the run game. You got the offensive line. You got the defense. Pete Golding has got to keep it on track. Get it together. Whatever was working, that you only gave up 3 field goals to Mississippi State and beat them like that. You need that going forward against teams like an LSU, like we got Tennessee this week, Mexico State. I mean, come on, Arkansas. You need it, and you definitely need it for the Iron Bowl. But we're going to see what unfolds. Watch it. How does it go? Look. I'm done. I'm going to wait until these games are played. I'm done with these predictions. Oh, well, Alabama could beat Georgia. Georgia couldn't beat Bama. Georgia could because Bama's – we don't know what's going to happen. I told you there's like 3 different teams that could win this West. There's still 5 games left on Alabama's schedule. Right? 6 more weeks of the regular season. They get the bye week between Tennessee and LSU. They get the bye week on the 30th of October. They got 6 games left counting this week. So 7 more weeks of SEC and just in general college football's regular season. That's not quite 2 months, but that's kind of, You guys let me know. But I really think that A&M's whatever tricks they had up their sleeve to, the fast-paced offense with Zach Calzada and everybody, and I give them credit. Nothing but love and respect. No hatred. Not making excuses. I really think that it woke up Alabama and Nick Saban, and especially Pete Golding in the defense. And it's not a lack of talent. It's just a bad night of coaching. That's all it was. And Pete Golding, I think we give him too much crap, because he can work up a great defensive plan. He can get the guys focused. He can put it together. He can put the work in, coach them up, and get them ready. And I think A&M helped him do that against Mississippi State. Because, man, it was a wake-up call that this Bama team that we thought was unstoppable, looked unbeatable, wasn't going to slow down, not even close. Because on any given Saturday, I keep saying any given Saturday, an upset could brew, especially in the SEC. I mean, it was Kyle Field. Tough environment. Alabama should have gone in there, honestly, and won like a 31-10, in my opinion. But that didn't happen. Jimbo had a plan to shut down the Tide, and it happened. But not only that, forget what Jimbo did. Forget about that. What Alabama did not do, that was execute and have the Bama factor in hand that night. But they have it now, and I'm hoping that was a wake-up call that they don't slow down. Because if they lose again, they're done. They're done. Anyways, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today and watching this. Let me know what your thoughts are. I really do think that was a wake-up call, and I think you saw it play into effect this past Saturday against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Again, it's third Saturday. Rivalry week, hate week for Tennessee. We own them. We're coming for them again. They'll play at home. It's going to be a night game at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 o'clock local time for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Keep your head up. God bless. And as always, folks, as I always say,
roll down Tide.
Roll Tide, roll. I love you guys. Ballard Sports Media checking out.